What's up, everybody? Thank you so much for clicking on my chess rook tutorial. I appreciate it. So let's get started. So first you're going to hit General, and we're going to want to delete everything in the scene. So hit X. And let me actually just turn on keyboard so you can see what keys I'm pressing. Should work. All right, yeah. All right, so now we're going to hit Shift A. Add a reference photo. The link to the reference photo I'm using is in the description. So double click video, reference. There we go. So we're going to have to adjust the rotation so it's just sitting straight up. So for X, rotate it 90, Y 0, Z 0. Then we're going to hit numpad 1. And then Shift A, let's add a cylinder, scale it down, then scale on the Z axis. G, let's move it a little bit on the X, then G, Z, scale, like that, G, Z, let's move it down a little bit. Let's just scale it in a tiny bit more. All right, then we're going to hit Tab to go into edit mode, and it's important that you toggle X-ray mode, because if you don't, you're just only selecting the vertices on the front, not the back. So let's go Alt-Z, or just hit this button here to toggle X-ray mode, and select these bottom vertices, and E to extrude, and then S to scale. And we're just going to repeat this down the body of the chess piece. And actually, let's redo that. It's just with Control Z. All right, then you're going to hit E, left click, and then S to scale this out. So by doing this, we're creating a ledge, as you can see, like the one on the chess piece. Then E to extrude down, scale it in a tiny bit, E to extrude, scale in. Then we're going to do the same thing that we did to create the ledge, but we're going to scale inward. So E, left click, S, scale it in, then E to extrude. So now we're going to have to go back out again. So E, left click, scale out, just match this here. And it's okay if it doesn't exactly match the reference. So E, extrude, scale, E, scale. Then E, let's just scale this inwards, do one more. Then we're going to do the same thing we did here. So E, left click, scale inwards, then extrude that down, then E, left click, scale it back out, then create that. And then it's important that you extrude again and just leave a small space, because there's green felt and we want to have faces to select for our felt material. So now up here, I'm going to select those top vertices and hit E, left click, and scale it out just a tiny bit, extrude, scale it out, extrude, scale out, then extrude, left click, scale out again. There you go. Then extrude, left click, scale inwards. Or that was a little bit too much. S. There we go. Then E, left click, scale back over here. Then just go like that and scale it out. All right, so now that we got the body, we got to do the top. So hit Alt-Z to get out of X-ray mode. So the top, we got to inset this face, move it down a tiny bit, and then add those gaps. So tab back into edit mode, 3 for face select, or just hit this button here, select, inset, just a little bit like that. Then E to extrude, go down a tiny bit. And then let's add a loop cut with Control R because we don't want to select this entire face. We only want to select part of it. So let's just go here. All right. And so we're going to select every 8th face. So just Shift and then hit X, delete faces. And then we're just going to go back to edge select with 2 or hit this button right here. And we're going to Shift, select these edges, hit F, and add back the faces. All right, so now once you have all the gaps, you have successfully modeled the Rook. Don't forget the save. So now we want to get rid of these faces, and we can do that by right-clicking. So make sure you're in object mode, right-click, shade smooth, and then we're also going to add a, go to your modifiers tab, the wrench, and then add a subdivision surface modifier. Just leave it like that. And now it looks like really soft, and we lost a lot of detail. So we're going to click it, tab back in the edit mode, and we're going to add loop cuts to add back the lost detail and like sharp edges. So to do that, you just hit Control R and hover over it, and we're going to go down like that. Go up. Could probably move it a little bit up. Oh, it's good. All right, so now after you've added all your loop cuts to the top, we're gonna just move down the body, the piece. So hit numpad 1. We're gonna add 1 right here. Edge cut, let's see, right here. Just anywhere where you want a sharp edge, looking edge, just add a loop cut. All right, let's continue with these loop cuts. It's loop 1, numpad, shift, middle mouse button. All right, let's add 1 right here. So Control R. It's looking good. Let's add another one over here. Control R, and then add 1 at the bottom. All right, so after you add the loop cuts, you notice it's looking a lot better, but we have this ugly like crease looking thing here when we added the loop cuts to the top. So to fix that, we're just gonna delete the edge loop. So go over here. Let's just go numpad 1, make it easier. And so we wanna delete, see. So we want to delete the ones we added. So just Alt left click. But we still want the ones over here. So just Shift, left click. Oh shit. Just want to deselect the ones that we need for those sharp edges. Like that. And so then just hit X and then delete edges. Or no, dissolve edges is what we want. So X, dissolve edges. And if we go back, we just need to delete one more, and that should do it. So the one right there. And then we're going to have to repeat this for the other three. So yeah, that looks good. So just X, dissolve edges. Now if we go back, you notice the crease is gone along the body, and we're going to deal with this just in a little bit. But for now, let's just get rid of the rest of these. All right. One thing I forgot to mention is auto smooth. So if you go to the object data properties and you go to normals and check auto smooth, it'll just make everything kind of look sharper. So after we deleted, those edges, the body looks good, but the top of the Rook still doesn't look quite right. So to get rid of these creases right here, you're just going to want to shift and then just click the inside edges right here. And just hit X, dissolve edges, that one. All right, so just hit X, dissolve edges, and then if you go into object mode, you can see that it's fixed, but we're still gonna have to fix this. But first, let's just focus on those creases getting rid of those creases real quick. All right, so it looks like we got rid of all of them. So we still got to fix this. It just looks really bad. So first, we're going to add creases. So just hit Shift and then E and go all the way to 1. All right, so as you can see, that's doing a good job of fixing it. So just go through and do it to all 4, and then we'll be able to move on to the next step. All right, so now after adding your loop cuts and creases, the top should now look really smooth and with sharp edges. So now we're going to select our object, move it up a little bit, Shift A, add a plane, G, let's move it down. Then let's just scale it up. And then we're going to tab into edit mode, 1 for selecting vertices, or you can click this button. E, let's just extrude it up, hit Z, and then we're going to select these bottom vertices again, Control B to bevel, then we're going to hit it again, bevel again, let's just do that, and bevel one more time, and looks good enough. So now the shade smooth, and we're just going to add a light and a camera. So Shift A, add a sun. We're going to move it up, then R, X, I think 45 and minus, then RY 45. And just move it. Let's see. All right, that's good. Now this had a camera, Shift A, camera, G, X, move it back a little bit, 0, G, Z, and let's see. For the rotation, just 90 for X, 0 for Y, and 0 for Z, I think. Or 90 for Z. Negative 90. There we go. Then just GZ. Let's just select the camera. Ooh. GZ. All right. And yeah, let's just move this sun down a tiny bit more. All right. So once you have that set up, we're going to select our Rook. Go to the Materials tab. Hit New Material, and we're going to call this material Wood. Go to the Shading tab, and we're going to add an image texture. Hit Color, then hit Open, and there's a link to the wood texture I used in the description. Textures, wood flooring, and make sure to use the color one. And now if you look at this, you can see that it has this weird kind of wrapped on the image weird. So to fix that, we're going to just do a UV unwrap. So to select this, hit A, and then hit U, Smart UV Project. There you go. And we're just gonna image, save as. If we go back to our shading tab, you can see that this kind of fixed it. So it's just the wood's all going in one direction. And go back to layout mode, tab into edit, and we're gonna select what we're gonna use for the green felt material. So actually go back to object. Let's just raise this a little bit so we can see the bottom. Then go face select with 3. Alt left click. Then should be good. So then go to materials again. Hit the plus. New. We're just going to call this felt, then just hit assign. So deselect, select, and go back to shading. Then there's a link to the felt texture I'm using in the description. And let's go to rendered mode. And let's just bring in this edge loop a little bit. So select it, and then just go to edge select of 2 on the keyboard, and then just scale it in. Just think it looks a little bit nicer. Like that. All right. Awesome. So camera view. Let's just Shift D, duplicate that, and then Shift Z. And let's just move it right here. And then we're going to go to our wood material and hit the 2. And if we go to shading, we could just change this to to black wood, which the link to the one I use is in the description. So let's go to textures and make sure to use this one. There you go. So now if we go back to layout mode, can move this up a little bit with Shift Z. Move this one maybe back. Let's rotate the camera with R, Y. Oh, not that. R, Y. And I would also like to adjust the focal length. to 100, G, X, G, Z. Yeah, now let's just Shift G, Shift Z. Let's just move that to here. G, Shift Z. Looks nice. And one last thing, go to World Lighting. Let's change the color to white. And then let's just move this down to about, 0.4. And I'm trying to think. Anything I've forgotten? Oh, change it to cycles. And then hit F12. And congratulations, you finished your Rook render. If you have any questions, please feel to leave a comment. And if you find a better way of completing this, please let me know in the comments as well. If you want to see more content like this in the future, please like and subscribe. Thank you.